We made peace a symbol of ours. In the name of peace we gather here now. Oh Lord, please make these days of ours on this earth filled with peace. Salamun, 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 salam. Salamun, 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 salam. Salamun, 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 salam.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to a new episode of Heroic or Heretic. I will like to welcome my guests, Ahmed and Omar. Thank you for being with us today. And we'll continue our discussion about the modern extreme jihadi groups and their ideologies and what they promoting and the chaos and the sense of corruption, actually, fasad fil ard, that they cause today. And last time we were talking specifically about ISIS and or ISIL, the Islamic State, or Daesh, or whatever you name it. And we talked a little bit of historical background of how this started. There's two things I want to say before we go to a new point here. Number one is, I know there is a lot of talk about how this group managed to find their way and to establish a state and to all this number of people, all these resources. And a lot of people start saying they are made by intelligent communities. You know, for me, I'm not a person who really into conspiracy theories. Nobody can really confirm these information. We judge things based on what appear. I'm not here to be a political analysis. That's not our role. What I care about is not who made it or not. What I care about is those young men and women who joining them. This men and women who dying now. And basically carrying attack on in the Western world or in Muslim countries under the command of this group. And I know those Muslim men and women are sincerely thinking that they're doing something right. Many of them are deceived by this group. I don't care if they are intelligent by Iranian intelligence or Western intelligence or Arab intelligence. That's not my point. What I care for is these young men and women who adopt that, you know, and a lot of naive ideas that saying, oh, this is like made by this intelligent or that intelligent communities, which in many times shows me that those people don't understand how government work or how even security agencies work or how they just live into so much conspiracy theories. And a lot of people who use conspiracy theory to understand the reality, it is because they basically have a sense of failure in their life. There is nothing going right in their life. So what they basically find this is a scapegoat, is a way to escape the reality by thinking of always there is someone plotting against us, someone doing that. And you notice that so many people cover their failure by telling you there is foreign entity come and cause the problem. For everybody, someone else has to carry that burden or to be basically scapegoat. I don't think this way. I don't advise people to think this way. But even if you think that way, that's not the point. The point is that there is ideologies. There is ideas here exist. Yes. We need to counter that. Also, one thing I want to say. I really don't believe that ISIS specifically is the result of just being overzealous Muslims or young Muslims who are angry. I think what we see today from many of these jihadist groups that exist, it is the result of the unjust treatment to the Muslim world. I think it is the result of our failure as a Muslim world to deal with the crisis in Syria. It is the result of the sectarian and discriminations and the sectarian war and the discrimination that was so clear in Iraq. It is the result of us, speaking as an American, I can say that. It is the result of us or many other countries going to Iraq, destroying the Iraqi state without providing a good model that can govern the country. And now they're just trying to build up, and we see how sectarian war taking place there, and it is really not, all the report comes is not in any way getting better toward the Sunnis. It is the unjust and the killing and the losses of life, the rape, the humiliation, what's happening in the Middle East, all these crises that we see in the world today, happening to the Muslim world, that's what made ISIS. What made ISIS is not Ibn Taymiyyah, is not the teaching of the Hanbali or Muhammad Abdul Wahhab or the Salafi movement. What made ISIS is not Al-Ikhwan al-Muslimin. In my opinion, what made ISIS is not these groups. What made ISIS, that the environment that they're living in, that they wake up in the morning while their homes are destroyed. They woke up and they found themselves in a camp. They are basically pushed away from their countries. What made the crisis in Syria, ISIS, in my opinion, is the failure of the international community to provide a fair and just solution to the problem in the Middle East. The escalation of this created a sense of frustration. People don't see any light in the end of the tunnel. The only light they might see in the end of the tunnel is the train coming to run them over. That's no hope. If this is how I live my life, and I have no hope to survive, no future to claim, I'm willing to kill myself. I hate everybody else. That's what it is. And if we're not honest enough with ourselves to see that this is the result of the failure of our actions, and not only that, there is other reason, but this is the main reason that we should look at it. And we should be brave enough to stand up and to say, we did a mistake and we should fix it. Putting a bandage over an open wound is not going to solve the problem. We have to be brave enough to look deep enough and to be fair and just in dealing with the problem from the roots. Otherwise, it's going to keep coming again and again and again. So definitely, in my opinion, and many other people, not only Muslims or scholars or student knowledge or political analysis or politicians or security agencies, all of them come together and they are saying what I'm saying today at certain level. They're saying that this is not only caused by a misunderstanding of the religion. There is a big reason, there's a big portion of what we have in ISIS today and the jihadist group is the result of a failure, the international community failed to provide solution to the problem that we have in the Middle East. It is because of all these civil wars that exist. It is because of that people don't have jobs. People don't have opportunities. People don't see future. People don't see social justice. Don't see fairness and prosperity in their country and in their societies. The level of injustice and dictatorship that exists, the pressure that exists on the Muslims today have created this reactions. We as Muslims today, we feel those pressure, but some of us, alhamdulillah, was able to control the reaction, but some they don't control the reaction. So here I would say that this is something need to be said and must be said to be fair and just with ourselves and in our understanding of the situation. And maybe that will lead me to talk about why didn't we win the battle against terrorists today? Why, after all these years, we wage war against terrorists, but we have not won that battle yet? Go ahead, Fadl Ahmed.
Well, as a matter of fact, I would say that one of the main reasons why we lost the battle.
I didn't think we lost it, but we didn't win the battle yet.
Yes, we didn't win.
We're not losing.
We haven't made it yet. We haven't made it yet. It's because, of course, there's a political reason, and I'm not a politician to speak about that, okay? But this is very important, and it's one of the main reasons why we couldn't make it up till now. But the other reason is the absence of awareness for the Muslims and for, that we are dragged behind the media of the Western world, that they are kind of generalizing the idea. For example, when there's one bombing or blowing some building up, they kind of look, these are the Muslims. So they call them Muslims without any other nominations. It's kind of, this is Islam. So they generalize it without going into the details. They don't not speak specifically or objectively about this.
I completely agree. Media is part of the problem.
Yes.
Media, the way they deal with this incident is not fair. So, for example, a terrorist did something bad. Why would you bring Islam in the middle? He's a Muslim, he's not Islam. So why would you bring the religion of the person? While anyone else in the world will do anything bad in the world, will never see his religion mentioned. They don't say a Christian individual did that, or a Jewish person did that, or a Buddhist person. It's always a Muslim did that. Identify him by his religion. Also bringing Islam always in the middle is radical Islam. We don't have a radical Islam. We maybe have a radical Muslim. So I think the media, the way they basically deal with this issue and make it not fair, make people more frustrated, make people more angry at them than being angry at the action itself. So even that terrorist action that took place, that evil thing took place, it became not the focus point. A lot of Muslims, the focus point was, why are you accusing my religion? And the point is missed. And also I think sometimes the media also not fair in releasing all the information.
Yes.
They are quick to jump to judge Muslims.
Yes.
In many cases, a Middle Eastern guy, a Muslim, and all of a sudden we found he's not. And we found he's not like German.
Yeah.
The incident in German. All of a sudden, in the beginning, he's a Muslim guy, and when there's not a Muslim, he's not motivated by Islam, he's actually right-wing supremacist, who's a person who hate immigrants. We found the media kept quiet. Anything that's also a point. One of the things that is a lot of media, what they try to do, they try to sell news, make it the story look so attractive, even if the expenses of hurting people's feeling. And the media should have to be more responsible the way they report the news. And I also want to say, not all the media is that way. There's a lot of great articles in newspapers, a lot of good reports happen by many news outlets in the world. It's really worth mentioning as well. Let's have a quick break and we come back, inshallah, to continue this interesting topic.
Inshallah.
Peaceful, 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 peace. Peaceful, 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 peace.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran in 7 different ways of recitation. Similarly, Maryam alayhi salam, she's a woman by herself. She doesn't even have a husband who's ever touched her, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted a child to Maryam alayhi salam. Look at that. She said that, how will I have a child? وَلَمْ يَمْسَسْنِي بَشَرٌ. How will I have a child whilst I've never ever been touched by a man? One of the unique things about the story is that it's not like Umar al-Khattab hasn't heard these verses. Can you imagine that Umar al-Khattab hasn't heard these verses? He became sick from the effect that this ayah ended up having on his mind at that moment.
Peaceful, 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 peace. Peaceful, 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 peace.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to your program, Heroic or Heretic. We're talking about why didn't we win this battle against terrorism yet. It's been years, and we're saying we wage war against terrorists and terrorism, but the battles still keep going, and these groups start coming up with different names, popped up in different places in the world, became more complicated today than a few years back. We talked about the role of the media in this issue. Also, I want to say something, that whenever we counter the work of terrorists through only security agencies, and full force and just hammer them, that's not enough to solve the problem. Because these guys are not just militants. These guys also have ideas and ideologies. Ideologies must be countered with another ideology. So security agency is not enough, or military force, and is not enough to end, and cannot end ideas actually. You cannot win this battle if you're only going to use and depend on the heavy military force. That will not be enough to win this battle. And remember, every time we expand the military confrontation, in my opinion, in many cases, they win more sympathizers.
Yeah.
That proves the point.
It's not proving the point. Yes, somehow yes. So, for example, after they did a terrorist attack on the place, then we come full force and we bomb them and we kill them. Then innocent people die in the process. Collateral damage happened to the civilian. What happened? They used this to say, see, they are attacking us. They are attacking civilians. They are the bad people. And became this issue. And very good example, 9/11. When 9/11 happened, the whole world was supporting USA against this terrorist attack. But what happened when USA go and invaded Iraq? The whole world did start divided because the using of or Afghanistan. People start saying, oh no, that's not the right way. That's not the right course of reaction. So whenever we use this military might, we don't win much, in my opinion. Yes, it is important, but it's not the solution, or not should be the main solution. What else?
Yeah, actually, I think one of the main other reasons is, well, actually, you know, you touched some of these points in your introduction, mashallah. Maybe they're, you know, the state they live, they live something like a shabby life without, they do not have proper food, proper housing, proper, you know, lifestyle. That's why they think about changing their life and to do something that may give their pathetic life meaning. But I would say is that up till now, we as, you know, the Muslim community, we haven't thought about taking or creating a vantage point to look, you know, clearly at why and how they enlarge and they establish this big entity now. I think we need to think about, to start from now, not to leave them go there, and we start to think about a solution. We have to take it from here, to take the initiative from here. For example,
very good. So we have to provide alternative.
Yeah, exactly.
So this Sunni person, for example, in Iraq and Syria, he needed alternative. The only choice he have is a lot of these women who join ISIS because she doesn't have anywhere else to go. A lot of those people live in village. They don't know where else to go. Who's else to turn to? If they turn to the militias, Shia, they will be, you know, killed or disappeared. And they said this is the only alternative that we have. We have to provide alternative. He said this is the only place I live in. I don't know where to go. So if we find alternative to their case, you know, they said, what's other alternative we have to end the occupation, to end the injustice, to end this type of treatment? If we provide an alternative for them, most of these people will leave these radical ideas and basically not to be a terrorist anymore. Very good. One thing I want to say, a lot of time this conflict that we see between the countries who lead the war against terrorism is not really, many times you feel they're not sincere and basically waging war against terrorists. Because sometimes one group will be an ally and all of a sudden another 2 years later became, you know, an enemy. You know, it is politics. It's not based on solid principle because this is anti-government, this is anti-democracy, so I'm against that. And many incidents in the world today, you see when, for example, people goes against democracy in certain countries, you know, we will look to the other side. But other places, it will be so anti that and we will stand against it. So there is no really principle govern this confrontation. It is personal interest of these governments. And I think if we are sincere in our fight against terrorists, we will win that battle. I think also one of the things we are contradicting many times in the way we deal with these issues. Why certain people, we always condemn their act and we consider them terrorists, but when the same exact action takes place by a government or another entity, we are fine with it? Why when targeting civilians by an individual is not allowed and it's a big crime, okay? But when a government or a group of people target civilian and kill civilian and children, this is something we don't care for it. This is a contradiction. Make a lot of people not willing to support this war against terrorism. Also, sometimes many countries kind of arrogant in the way they deal with terrorists, and they don't in a state of denial. A lot of countries, I used to hear this a lot, they are not from our country, they are foreigners. And we don't have this problem in our country. These people come from outside. You know, even sometimes in Muslim community, they will tell me, oh, all these terrorists is not from the Muslim community, for example. It's a state of denial. That's wrong. We have to own the problem. I'm not saying that it is a Muslim community problem. I'm not saying it is from your country, but a part of it could be. You cannot be just stay in denial and say, oh, they are not Muslim, or they are not, all of them are intelligent communities. No, there is some of them from maybe your own community or from your own country, and you need to deal with the problem. Sometimes the solutions can come in a form of very silly suggestions. Unbelievable analysis. Like one person said, they are sexually frustrated. That's why they are turned to be a terrorist. I mean, is that what it is? Do you think the people going to Syria just because, and Iraq, and because they're sexually frustrated? Is that the solution that you have? Sometimes it's ridiculous, the way they give answers. It's like when we say, oh, they hate us because of our freedom, or because of, you know, our lifestyle. No, they don't hate you because of your freedom or lifestyle. They hate you because they feel you're not giving them an opportunity. They hate you because they think you're responsible for the miserable life that they have. What you need to do to explain that I'm not necessarily the responsible for it. You know, I don't control the world, really. So there is sometimes a very silly way of dealing with the problem. And when you deal with it in this very simplistic way like that, you're not going to be able to solve the problem. Don't you agree?
Yeah, of course.
Also, I think we need more research, more analysis. We need to make more study to analyze how they think, what they do. And in modern days, there's a lot of good research done, but I think there's more to be done because these groups basically they progress very quickly and evolve. Yes,
yeah, regarding this point of research, there was a book written by an American researcher. It was entitled Dying to Win. And he researched like the numbers of people who do suicide bombing. And he noticed that there is a pattern, that they don't have something in common related to religion or ideology, but they had something in common, that their lands had military bases. So as long as there are military bases or foreign bases inside their lands, they do these stupid things. But if their lands are free, they don't have this problem. And this book was written, I think it was about 2007.
Interesting. One thing I want to say about these studies and research, it should not be taken also as facts.
Yeah, of course.
These theories, we should look and analyze
It's a dimension.
them. Very good. One of the things that I would say as well, that we need to engage the du'at and the scholars more into this battle. We need to engage more of the scholars and du'at and leaders of the society to take a front line in this war, especially in the Western world. Muslim scholars and Muslim du'at can play a major role in this issue, in talking to the youth, talking to the people. We don't talk to them because we do this for the government necessarily, or because of, you know, I've been ordered to do that. Because I believe this is my responsibility as a Muslim scholar, as a Muslim da'iyah, as a person who cares for his community. You know, we should have and engage them more and give them the basically the support that they want. We as du'at and scholars and student of knowledge, we don't want anything from any government. We just only be left to give the opportunity to speak our mind, to talk to the youth, in a place, in a time, in a situation which is safe. And they feel free to speak and to talk. You know, Egypt started this program a while ago, and Saudi Arabia also did that program of al-munasaha, or went inside the jail and talked to the Jama'ah al-Islamiyya in Egypt before. In Saudi Arabia, they talked to many of the sympathizers or even people who at one time tried to join ISIS or Al-Qaeda, and they succeed to a certain extent to convert and to bring back many of them back to the right path. Yes, there is a group people didn't, but when you have more than 1,000 persons were able to change their mind and to bring them back, like what Ibn Abbas did with the Khawarij, why not? That's a win situation. You know, sometimes when we only think about arresting people, putting them in jail, is not the solution. Putting people in jail is not going to help. It's not going to help. Actually, Zarqawi, the one who established that, he got so extreme after entering jail in Jordan and meeting al-Maqdisi inside jail. Came up with even more radical ideas and views.
I think it was the same with Anwar al-Awlaqi.
Same thing with al-Awlaqi when he was put in jail in Yemen as well. People get worse in jail. So when we get more interested in putting people behind bar, we're not solving the problem. Maybe we're delaying it and make it in professional criminals instead of just, you know, extremists. I think one of the point as well, we need more materials available online dealing with the doubts that those people use. Like some of the point that we raise in these episodes. If you go online, you will see that the jihadi groups have so much materials online, written in a very good language with a lot of quotes from different scholars, easy to deceive and to be used as a material to refute the scholars of Ahl Sunnah. As a matter of fact, the moment you put one point, they bring you 10 quotes, and they bring you images from books, and they have a whole army online in the social media willing to take you down and to bring so many quotes from the scholars from the past to support their ideas. But what they pick and choose. So we need to expose that. We need to have not same, but way more materials online than what they have. We're not very active online in countering their messages. We have to be more active than what it is now. I think we failed to provide, as you said, a peaceful solutions.
Yes.
Solutions to the problem. These people have problems that they talk about problems. We failed to bring peaceful solutions, alternatives that those people can be engaged in it in a civil way to find a solution to the problem of the world, especially in the Muslim world, in the Middle East, where I think it is the root cause of most of these problems. Yes, there were always people extreme in their views and ideologies, and this is something we can, it has nothing to do with politics, but the percentage is much smaller than what we have today. That'll bring to an end to our episode today. It's a very interesting discussion. Hopefully in the next episode we can explore also a few points, and maybe we talk about some of the solutions that we can do. Thank you very much for being with me. Thank you for watching our program, Heroic or Heretic, and I extend my thanks to all the team in the studio. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Peaceful, 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 peace. Peaceful, 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 peace. Peaceful, 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 peace. Peaceful, 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 peace. We made peace a symbol of ours. In the name of peace we gather here now. Oh Lord, please make these days of ours on this earth filled with peace. Salamun, 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 salam. Salamun, 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 salam. Salamun, 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 salam. Salamun, 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 salam.